so much for joining us today. My name is Belinda Pina. I'm Vice President of Footwear Plus Magazine, and I am delighted to have with us a special guest, Paul Lee, CEO of NHN Global FashionGo, who's joining us as part of our Footwear Plus digital series. So you might be thinking, FashionGo, who are they? So for most people in the footwear industry, it might be a newer name, but it's certainly not a new name or business for anyone in the apparel industry. So Paul Lee, thank you so much for being with us today.
Well, thank you for having me. Look forward to the conversation to talk about the fashion community in general, to talk a little bit about the platform and sort of our capabilities. Glad to be here.
Wonderful. All right. So with FashionGo, I would love to just kind of give a general overview of the business to anyone in the footwear industry who is listening or watching us today. I think there might be, maybe some information out there on the business for those of us who have maybe exhibited in certain apparel trade shows within the business. But in a nutshell, FashionGo is an online B2B wholesale marketplace. So please, if you give us some context around what you guys do and really just the essence of the business.
Sure, happy to do so. FashionGo, it's a leading B2B fashion marketplace. It's really the best for discovering products and brands. It's B2B, meaning it's business to business. So when we connect the brands and the retailers, it's done in a wholesale fashion, meaning it's not open to the public, it's not open to the end consumer. It's a marketplace that's similar to a physical trade show, as you alluded to, or markets where the fashion community, the wholesale fashion community is congregating. Except it's online, so you don't have the restrictions of geography, business hours, or attending a scheduled show, let's say. Being online, I think one of the biggest perks is that it's very accessible, right? Meaning the engagement, discovery happens 24/7. We never close, right? And so if you're a brand or you're a business, it all gets done in the comfort of your choosing. So whether that's home, because you're working remotely, or you're at a physical office, you just log in onto the platform, discover and engage and purchase. As far as the categories that we operate in, we have 12 major categories. Some examples are women's apparel, men's apparel, children, and footwear, just to name a few. For the retail buyers, it's free. It's free to use, right? There's no fee. One thing I think that's important to highlight is that we are very protective of the channel. What does that mean? We want to ensure integrity of the marketplace, right? And for both the brands and the sellers. And because of that, we do require some verification documents to ensure that legitimate businesses are actively engaging on the platform. As far as history, believe it or not, the FashionGo platform has been around since 2002, so over 2 decades. It was initially founded by entrepreneurs here in Los Angeles who are deeply rooted in the fashion community, the wholesale fashion community. Now it's owned by NHN, which is one of the top 5 publicly traded tech companies in South Korea. One thing I like to say is that we are a tech company that happens to be in fashion, not the other way around, right? And given our tech DNA, you infuse that with the legacy, know-how, and experience in wholesale fashion. What we prioritize is bringing innovative products, solutions that are most relevant for the fashion community. Buzzwords nowadays are AI and machine learning. We've been using such technologies for the last bunch of years to make recommendations and to bring new technology. Another technology to highlight is we have image-based search, where If you're a buyer on the platform, just using a traditional text search may not be sufficient. And sticking with search, I would say that we're very focused on search engines and products for the retail buyers, so that they're making the best informed purchasing decision for their businesses. Lastly, I would say for the platform, because the transactions occur online on the platform, secure payments. We adhere to the most stringent compliance in the payments industry to prevent fraud and secure data. Consequently, we have one of the lowest fraud rates in the industry. Just to leave you with some stats on the business, right now we have thousands of brands, again, across 12 categories that are actively selling on the platform. That's with 1 million registered retail buyers. On a given day, if you come onto the platform, you'll see kind of 3 million plus products and styles that a buyer could browse and purchase.
Wow, that's pretty incredible. A lot of extensive features, it sounds like, and the technology aspect is so intriguing to me because certainly pre-COVID there weren't that many options in this space, certainly not great ones. And I think the fact that you guys have sort of continued to grow and to have 1 million retailers on your platform kind of speaks for itself. And the landscape has changed so much over the last few years in terms of trade shows and other options and ways in which wholesalers can sell their product, as well as, the other side of the coin, which, all these startup boutiques, let's say, right, who may not have the time or the budget to travel to trade shows, but yet they have this great platform, at their fingertips to really allow them to, see the breadth of product out there and, really kind of shop in a different new way, in addition to, seeing maybe going to the most important trade shows that, they have on their priority list. So I think it's great, very much, certainly, a need in the industry. And it sounds like you guys have, more than filled it. And, clearly right now it's a time for you to grow in the footwear industry, and that's a strategy for you guys. I'd love to know a little bit more about your background in the business. I understand you guys are a tech-first business, so can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. My background, so I initially started my career on Wall Street in finance, advising Fortune 500 companies on highly strategic matters, mostly in the consumer and retail sector. So some of the companies I worked with back then, recognizable names, Nordstrom, Wrigley, PepsiCo, and Best Buy, just to name a few. Since leaving Wall Street, I've held various executive roles, mainly at tech companies. I've been the CEO of NHN Global, which is the parent company to FashionGo, since January 2020, right before the pandemic started, actually.
Amazing. Wow, that's great. Okay, and as far as FashionGo, if you can get a little bit into the benefits for brands and retailers, and let's just say someone is a little bit weary of really buying online or selling their product online. I know you mentioned that there are some guardrails there, but can you give me a little bit more, just maybe input on, what would make someone feel most comfortable? And, even considering, as a wholesaler who might have sales agents, and if that might be a conflict, perhaps, how do you generally see that structured?
Yeah, I keep going back to us being an online marketplace as far as benefits, and this is both for the sellers, the brands, as well as the retailers. So if you think about that, not adhering to a physical trade show, scheduled business hours or seasons, all that wonderful stuff that occur within the fashion space. The connections really between the buyers and the sellers happen throughout the year, right? It's anywhere geographically, anytime. And I think that's a very powerful thing, that there is constant engagement that you're able to do without traveling and without incurring the cost to attend a show or visit a showroom. I would say the other added benefits, I'll get to the technology in a second. I mentioned thousands of brands that are selling across 12 major categories. Consequently, we have thousands of new arrivals daily. As a virtual showroom, you're not restricted by what you could sell on the platform. As a matter of fact, a lot of our brands are showcasing their new arrivals first and foremost on FashionGo throughout the year. And getting to the technology aspect of the platform, we have some cool technology. I previously mentioned image-based search. The tool is actually called Style Match Plus. It's image-based search in a sense that you take an image, right? It's a blouse from another site or a picture. If you just paste that onto the platform, you'll get hits immediately within seconds across all of the brands that are selling similar merchandise. So as a buyer, you're able to compare and contrast very quickly using images versus using traditional search, right? Typing in, white blouse and then getting hits that may or may not be relevant. So that's one example. We have been using AI recommendation to make the most relevant searches and recommendations for the buyers. We also have this cool program called FashionGo Live. It's a live selling program that we do once a week with the brands. And it's really an opportunity for the brands to showcase their new arrivals, best sellers, exclusive programs. And it's very interactive. The buyers are able to ask questions, make purchases, and it's free for the buyers to participate virtually, and free for the brands to actually participate in the sessions. And as far as the merchandise that's on the platform, if you come to the platform, given the robust data and technology, you are able to see what we call the best of the best-selling products immediately. Again, I keep going back to this theme about making the best possible decision as a buyer for your business. So if you see what's selling and what's most relevant, you're making the best possible purchasing decision.
Wow, I love how obviously the sort of data intelligence and the sort of matching and interactive component here. It's very interesting to me. And just out of curiosity, is most product all in stock? Like inventory, or is there pre-sold product? What do you generally see on the site here?
Yeah, we have both. And we have big box retailers and boutiques who are looking to procure both. I would say at the moment, in terms of filling the need, it's mostly in stock immediates where we're filling the biggest need, although we are selling both.
Got it. That makes a lot of sense. Okay. Are there any, high-level stats or any other, fun facts that you'd like to share about maybe the footwear segment of your business or FashionGo as a whole?
Sure. Let me start by, let me take a step back, and before I get into FashionGo stats, I do want to talk about the B2B industry a little bit. When you look at B2B industry as a whole, the manufacturers and distributors just last year alone, grew by something like 15%, according to Digital Commerce 360. But beyond that, the significant growth, Belinda, has been coming from the B2B online marketplaces. So when you survey B2B buyers, something like 35% are saying that 50% of the purchases are done through marketplaces, online marketplaces. 60% of the respondents are saying that they want to and they're open to using an online marketplace. As far as sales within B2B marketplaces, I think it grew something like over 5x historically from 2020 to 2022, and expected to grow 7x versus the entire B2B e-commerce landscape. And those stats are pretty staggering. Now, getting back to FashionGo footwear, we've seen very impressive, significant growth as well. So the last 4 years, the order volume for the footwear category has grown by 125%. And when you look at footwear item listings, similar growth percentage, over 100% over the last 5 years. And the importance of the category, and we see that because footwear is number 2 in the most asked category item from the FashionGo retail buyers. Another thing I would say is that FashionGo curates styles and looks from different products across the different categories, which really helps the buyers to procure certain looks that may be relevant for their boutique. And I previously mentioned the comment about the big box retailers and also the boutiques kind of procuring and shopping for both in-stock immediates as well as the pre-orders.
Wow, those that info is very significant, certainly. Really kind of speaks to the opportunity. That's fantastic. Okay, well, I would love to hear a little bit more about everything that you guys are working on right now and 2023 initiatives with FashionGo. Anything in particular you'd like to share?
Yeah, I'll kind of keep the comments somewhat high level as far as themes for our platform and for the industry in particular. I would say one of the bigger initiatives for us is continue the strategic expansion into the important categories. Now, what are they? It's footwear, accessories, and home products. And the aim would be to bring more products to the platform because the demand is certainly there. The other initiative would be to continue to expand in bringing valuable experiences and tools to the retail buyers to ensure that, I keep saying this over and over again, but so that they're making the best informed purchasing decision. I guess another thing would be to provide tangible solutions to alleviate some of the pain points in the procurement process for the retail buyers. And lastly, provide more analytical tools for the retail buyers so that they're making the best possible business and merchandising decisions, so that they're able to forecast and plan their business accordingly.
That's a lot you have going on there.
We do.
So it's clearly more than what one might expect in terms of an online marketplace. So this is really great getting to know more about FashionGo. And I also just happened to read a press release about a partnership with Accessories Council as well today. So congrats to you guys. And it's been great getting to know you and a little bit more about the business. And we'll look forward to keeping in touch and certainly continuing to share with the industry all that FashionGo has to offer. So thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you, Belinda. Pleasure to be here. Enjoy speaking with you and look forward to having another conversation about the fashion community sometime in the future.
Thanks, Paul. And thank you for watching today.
Thank you.